This problem says to determine all values of x in between 0 and 360, that makes this equation true. So this is an equation equal to 0. That's going to happen when the numerator is 0. So if we can find when that's 0. Okay, so we need, or we want, that to be 0, but the thing is we don't want the denominator to be 0. Right, so like we need this to be 0 while the denominator is not 0, because otherwise you get 0 over 0, and that is not equal to 0. That's called an indeterminate form. So we also need 2 cosine of x minus 1 to not be 0. So let's first deal with this. If you add 3 and divide by 4, you get that sine squared is 3/4. And then when you square root, we get that sine of x could be plus or minus the square root of 3 over 2. So naturally those produce some special right angles. Okay, and so like remember sine is the y coordinate on the unit circle, so like when is the y coordinate root 3 over 2? It would be at these angles I am drawing. Okay, it would be positive root 3 over 2 in those two diagrams, and negative root 3 over 2 in these diagrams. Okay, now hopefully you've figured out that, right, these reference angles must all be 60. Okay, so this first angle here is 60. The second solution would be 120, and then 240, and then 300. But I gotta go over here and eliminate if any of these make this equation true, I gotta get rid of those because they can't. We don't want that. We don't want solutions to this equation. So let's solve this to figure out when it's true, and then we have to ignore those. So this tells us the cosine of x is 1/2. Okay, and the x coordinate is positive 1/2. We'll go back to our diagram. Like in these diagrams, this x coordinate here is 1/2. Okay, so again, we can't have cosine of x equaling, we don't want cosine of x equal to 1/2, which means x cannot be 60 and 300 in our diagram. So I gotta get rid of these, and I just keep these. So the answer is 120, x equals 120, and 240 degrees.